Well. Welcome everyone. Welcome to Workstation Wednesday, where today we will be pouring casts of Hirstarts molds. Now, Hirstarts on their YouTube channel, which I'll link below, has already put out how to do all this casting stuff. I'm not going to make a better video than him or anything. Actually, in fact, his is the way better video. Go check his videos out if that's what you're looking for. This video is more of my process, which kind of closely represents his. I take a little bit of liberties here, but generally speaking, we're just going to be pouring here and getting some of the stuff done for our Booknook. That's kind of what we're doing here. So we have 3 molds. Again, I don't remember all of them, but we have 3 that we're going to be casting today. I'll probably show you one and then do the rest off camera, and then we'll come back and we'll do a demolding at the end of the video. But let's take an inventory on what all I have. So first off, you probably noticed in the center of the screen here, we have this shake table. Bruce at HistArts, all he does is he beats the bottom of it. This is actually a shake table that they use for dental stone, which is what we have. So they put molds of like people's teeth down here, and then they shake all the bubbles out of it, and that's what this does. So what we'll be using is this. I mean, at this point, it's almost ubiquitous that I use these things. I think this was Jack Link sausages. What we'll do is we'll put this on here, right? We'll pour in the flow stone, and we'll use our shake table to get most of the bubbles out for us. That way we don't have a really bubbly mold. So we have the shake table, we have the meat container, we also have I think this is a 6-inch spatula. I got it at like probably Home Depot or Menards or something. But if we look here, HistArts makes their molds so you can perfectly, for 6 inches, drag this across. This will make it perfectly flat for us. So we won't have to worry about, like, if we did it in resin, like this one's taller, this one's shorter, they'll be a perfectly flat on the back. This is one thing that I really like about doing it in this flow stone or plaster or whatever. I have this very old spoon. I think Bruce uses a metal one. I'm so chintzy I use a plastic one. And of course we use plastic cups here. So we'll put everything in here. We'll stir it up in there. Fantastic. Now, the flow stone itself. I got it. Ooh, I got it from the Plaster Brothers, which I'll link below, which is a place that HistArts or Bruce recommends, which is just a ton of flowstone. They pack it in these flat rate priority mailboxes or mail packages. So you'll get 25 pounds. Yeah, you heard me right. 25 pounds of flowstone. This stuff has lasted me a long time. But let's say you don't want to do that. You want to do something different. Well, you can go down to your local hardware store or like Menards, Home Depot, whatever, and you can get this. Durham's, it's like water putty. It's exactly the same as this stuff. I mean, it's a little different, you know, but what we'll be doing is exactly the same. I've used this stuff actually quite a bit before I got the big amount, but this is full, by the way. You can use either one of those and it'll work fantastic. The next thing is you'll need 1/4 of a cup and 1/2 of a cup. These are the 2 things that we'll be using. This is going to be, as you can probably see, primarily for the powder. So we'll take 1/2 a cup of mixture and about 1/4 of a cup of water, mix them together, and that will be our flowstone that we'll be using. Also, when we're mixing this, we're going to do it on the shake table, so while we're shaking it, it's getting as many bubbles out as we can. Obviously, we'll need water, so I got a little plastic cup here full of water. Just got it from the tap. Oh, and the last part we'll need is wet water. Now, you're probably thinking, what the heck is wet water? Well, it's just water with 1 or 2 drops of Jet Dry. This is a flow improver. It increases the surface area, or no, reduces the surface area. Sorry, reduces the surface area, so we can make sure that we have almost 0 bubbles in our mold. So we'll hit it with this just a little bit, kind of get most of the water off, and then we'll go from there. So what I normally do is I usually start with the flow improver, hit it on there a little bit, just a little bit, hit it away from you so you don't, you know, make a mess. And you can see we don't put a whole lot on there, just 1 or 2 sprays, and just kind of set it off to the side while we work on this, because it's okay if it's a little wet, but if it dries up a bit for us, that'll be really nice. All right, so what we'll do is we'll take our cup, right, and we'll just, or half a cup, sorry, and we'll just kind of fill this baby up right here. There we go. Something like that. Just, it doesn't need to be perfect, but, you know, close enough. And the water will be the same. We're actually going to put the water in first. So with this, I usually pour over the cup that I'm going to go into. Just pour in 1/4 of a cup. 1/4 of a cup of water. Very easy. Now try to keep the water away from the actual powder, because if it gets in there, it'll make a solid clump, and we definitely don't want that. So now with this though, we kind of want to add it slowly. We don't want to just dump it all in there, so just kind of like shake it in there a little bit. Kind of let it dissolve, kind of let it get in there, do its own thing. And if you want, you can give it a little bit of a stir right here. Just a little bit of a stir. Just so we're making sure that we're nice and good. Now, if you feel it's too liquidy, ooh, almost spilled there. If you feel it's a little too liquidy, you can just go back in for a little bit more. But I would not recommend doing this too often. This is just for, you know, to show you that we can pour a little bit more in there if we feel that it's too thin. But this is looking pretty good, actually. So what we'll do is we'll turn this on, just really low. And I know it makes a lot of noise, but we need that. To make sure we get all the bubbles out of there. So what we'll do is we'll kind of just let this sit here. But we're making sure that we get all of the, all the pieces mixed up really, really well. Because we don't want any random pieces in there. Now put this on like a cloth or a rag that you don't really care about. And you can see, if you look real close here, you can see all the bubbles coming out of there. That's what we want out of there. We want all those bubbles gone. So we're just going to kind of let that shake itself out. Now the same with resins and other kind of casting material. It's easier for bubbles to get out in a flat surface than a deep cup like this. But we're still trying to get like the biggest stuff out of here, right? So you can go ahead and turn this down as low as you can. Just giving it a couple seconds, you know, not too long. The cool thing about plaster is, I mean, we have a much longer work time than with a resin. Resin, you have to do everything real quick, you have to get everything in there. But with this plaster, we can kind of take our time, because it isn't going to cure for quite a while. So, I mean, we can kind of, you know, just kind of do it at our own pace. Now, with this, the foam, it's not really moving very much. And that's because it's absorbing some of those vibrations. But it has enough vibrations for us. So now with this, actually, let me pour it this way. So with this, we're going to want to kind of start at the end and move our way in. And kind of let this do all the work for us. We're trying to let it flow, because it is flowstone, into where we want. So you'll lose a bit off the sides, that's okay. Again, we're trying to let it flow into the areas for us. Right? And then what you can do is with your putty knife, just kind of scoot it across here. Right? And we can turn this up higher. And once you turn it up higher, you can see it's starting to shake, right? All those bubbles out of there. Look how cool that looks, huh? Okay, but we don't want to turn it up too high. We don't want to get crazy with it, right? So we're gonna put just a little bit more on here. And then what we'll do is Bruce's suggestion is to let this sit for a bit. Let this sit for a bit, right? I think he said 6 minutes or something like that. Let it sit for 6 minutes, then come back and then do your full wipe on the actual piece itself. Okay, but we're going to let this sit over on the side here. And we have some extra. So you're probably thinking, well, what do you do with all the extra? Well, you can either do some more, or, oh, wait, hold up a second. Or what you could do is you can grab these. I believe I got these from Woodland Scenic. I can't remember exactly, don't quote me. But any extra that you have, you could just pour into these. And these work out great for, you know, for any extra bits that you have. Just go ahead and pour that in there. Now, we don't really care if there's bubbles in this because it's just wood. But you can go ahead and pour that in there and set it off to the side, just like that. And sometimes these don't really want to sit up straight, so you got to kind of help it out. There. But so what we'll do is we'll give this, again, we'll give this about 6 minutes or so. Actually, you know what? Can I get a little bit out of here? There we go. Yeah, but we'll give this about 6 minutes or so. We'll come back. We'll knock it off. But I'm not going to show that part. That's not really a need. I'm going to let this fully cure, and we're going to do a couple. I'm going to do a couple more of these off screen, and then I'll show you the demolding process, and then, you know, give you basically a summary at the end. So I'll catch you in a little bit. And we are back. So this is what they look like cured. They feel pretty good. They look like they have a couple bubbles on the tops, but I'm hoping that they're only micro bubbles on the inside. When you're taking these out, it's probably a good idea to, well, I probably should have grabbed one myself. Grab like a piece of paper or something to put down, because there's going to be a lot of excess debris that comes off. So like all this other stuff, this stuff just comes right off. But they should pop right out of here. So we just kind of work. Now these are very brittle because I've only let them sit for about maybe about 10-15 minutes. So they're not in there for very long. So let's see if we can get a close up of these. So these look pretty dang good. Very small micro bubbles if you look real close here. Very small micro bubbles on top, on the backs. But remember, this is going inside of our Booknook, so I think those are okay. So the shake table and using the wet water to kind of break up that surface tension, that's what gives these a limited or very few bubbles. Now the other thing that you are going to want, I should probably grab these too. They're really big, but I have sorters. So I have stone for 2 inches, stone for 1 inch, stone for, that's an inch and a half, sorry. 1 inch, and then ½ an inch. So they're just big things. I got these at the dollar store. They're really cheap. They're like 30 cents a piece. And then you just throw them in there. Now, but I'm not going to throw them in there quite yet. First what I'm going to do is I want to put these on either a piece of cardstock or a piece of cardboard and just put them close to my dehumidifier here down in the basement. Let them sit overnight. That way they're fully cured. Now, I'm going to want to get at least 2 casts of these done a day for the next 7 days. So that would give me, 2 times 7 gives me 14 casts, which will get me, I'm hoping, close to what I need for the actual walls. I might not even, no, I'm pretty sure I'll need more than that. Yeah, I'm actually pretty sure I'll need more than 6 or 14 casts of each of these. So yeah, maybe if I'm lucky I'll get 3 casts a day, but probably is going to only be 2 casts a day, depending on how, you know, how work goes for the next 7 days. So, but that's this one. So let's try out another one real quick while we got them all here. This is the wood one, and you can see that's inside of here. And the great thing, oh man, they're even coming out of here. The great thing about this stuff is that like nothing sticks to this stuff either. So, you know, you just have these random pieces. Now you could use these, you could save them, because this will tell you when they're totally dry. But you see how brittle they are right now? That's because they're not fully cured yet. But you can see here on the edge that there's a bunch of snap pieces. But yeah, let's see how the wood turned out. The wood's always a really finicky part, and these are so brittle right now because they're not fully cured. But let's zoom in here. Oh, look at that. Look at how beautiful these look. HistArts makes the best casts. Look at that. So this is going to be probably our door, right? We'll put a little handle, probably on this side actually. No, I like that. We'll put a little handle right there or something. And then this will be our door inside of our dungeon. How cool is that, huh? We'll take out a couple another piece of LEDs. That you can see how it's still kind of dark-ish. You can see it's still kind of dark. And that means it's not fully cured. But putting it in front or on a piece of paper or, you know, something like that, that will really help the moisture get dissipated from it real quick. But look at that. And then it's nice and flat. That's the great thing about using the plaster. You don't have to worry about being uneven or whatever, because these pieces are going to be really, really flat right off the gate. And you can see that these little bitty, this stuff down here at the edge, you can just kind of pop it off. They'll fall off. Let's get this piece out of here just so I don't accidentally mistake it as a piece of wood or something. Yeah, look at that. Look at how great that looks. Really happy with this. Again, we're probably going to do this. Let me back up here. Yeah, again, we're probably going to do this a few more times with these same molds. That's the thing about using these Hirstarts things. When you want to do a big project and you only got one mold, you're going to have to cast these babies quite a bit. But the reason why we're using this dental stone instead of resin is because, actually I have the wall right here. Because these walls are so big, putting all this in resin, it would just take so much money. And I'm not saying it wouldn't be worth it. It would just cost a lot. I would be spending, you know, maybe $100 or so on just creating this. Where using this dental stone, it costs almost nothing, because I got a 25-pound bag or 25-pound box, and that will make way more than enough for this particular project. So next week, next Wednesday that is, it will probably just be an update video on how far I got, how many casts I got, and maybe I'll show you guys my sorting mechanisms filled up and how far they are. And maybe by then I'll have a plan of attack once I see how, you know, how well these are all going. And look at this 1x1 square. Look at this. Hold on, let's look at this. Let's zoom in. Let's zoom in this 1x1. Yeah, look at how great that looks. Really great. I love this stuff. This 1x1, if you can see here, we'll put it on a little block here. It's great for if you have like a mini that you, you can't really see that over there, but you can see how it covers up the 1x1. It would be great if you just, you know, if you want to put a mini on there or something. I don't think I have any. We have this little guy over here that we can shove on here just to see. I wouldn't put him on this base, but you know, just for an example. But that's the video, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. I know that Hirstarts, I'll put all the links down below on Bruce and how he does all this, and he is a master at this since he invented it. Well, I don't say invented it, but he definitely crafted the best version of it so far that I've seen. So thanks everybody watching, and until next week, I'll see you then, right? Peace out.